And I'm Ryland.
And this is Mysteries Among Us.
Mysteries Among Us is made possible with Meaty Toe Productions.
Thanks for tuning in to our first episode. We appreciate it. Make sure to check out our Patreon and website, which will be tagged below. Welcome to Episode 1, the USS Cyclops Mystery.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 1918. The USS Cyclops, an American cargo and naval ship, was peacefully bobbing up and down off the coast. The USS Cyclops was used for transporting passengers and manganese ore. The manganese ore is a strong metal and was even found to have been used in ancient Spartan weapons. The USS Cyclops was the largest ship in the U.S. Navy at the time, with the size of 542 meters length by 65 meters height.
Oh, that's big.
The width is unknown. The ship had a broken engine, so a few repairs were needed. But no big deal, right? Wrong.
William Cramp & Sons Shipping Company was ordered to send the Cyclops back to Baltimore, Maryland for repairs. Smart idea to send a ship with a broken engine with valuable cargo and more than 300 people aboard from Rio to Baltimore, right?
The ship proceeded to head to Baltimore with no scheduled stops. This changed when it was noticed that the Plimsoll line was underwater. This is illegal, as water higher than the Plimsoll line signals overcapacity. Due to this, the Cyclops had to stop in Barbados on March 3rd. Only a few records were documented of this, so most of the evidence is from witnesses at the Bridgetown Harbor, where the Cyclops stopped at. Since there are so few records of this, we do not know who boarded, departed, what was loaded, unloaded, or any other details. Believe me, there are hardly any records because I had to visit the websites of the U.S. Navy History Foundation, National Archives, and the Baltimore Sun before I found that it stopped in Bridgetown.
From there, it was said that the Cyclops continued to Baltimore. The ship traveled through the Bermuda Islands, which, signaled by the names, make up the Bermuda Triangle. Two of the three sister ships of the Cyclops take the same route and disappear about a month away from each other. These were the USS Nereus and the USS Proteus, also named from Greek mythology. The other sister ship was the USS Jupiter, named from Roman mythology. This ship was sold and scrapped in 1971.
Now don't start bringing up all kinds of crazy alien theories, because there is already an overflowing abundance of theories of how the second largest death event in U.S. Navy history played out.
Number 1, Bermuda Triangle. Many say that the Bermuda Triangle had something to do with the Cyclops' disappearance. There are several different sub-theories to this, which you will hear later in the episode.
Number 2, aliens. A few people with tinfoil hats believe it was aliens who took the ship up to space with them to research. But we all have a brain here, hopefully. This theory is backed up by an astronaut named Gordon Cooper and treasure hunter Darren Micklaus. The Discovery Channel made an episode about the Cyclops starring these two.
Number 3, German sabotage. The largest theory is that the Nazi Germany sunk the ship, but modern democratic Germany says there are no known records of the Cyclops in Nazi records. Despite this claim, many still believe that documents could have been destroyed in the event of the sinking of a ship or submarine, the crashing of a plane, or the explosion of a bomb.
Number 4, Japanese sabotage. The second largest theory is that Imperial Japan attacked the ship during World War I. Japan has not denied nor confirmed this theory. Not a bit of information or evidence has been found to prove Japan innocent nor guilty.
Number 5, engine trouble. We believe that the ship sank because of the damage to the ship and the 2,200 extra pounds of passengers and cargo aboard.
Number 6, design flaw. The USS Nereus and USS Proteus, the two sister ships of the Cyclops that sank, both were said to have the same major design flaw. This makes it a very possible theory of how this ship sank.
Number 7, sea monsters. Ooh. Some people believe it was a giant sea monster who ate the ship. Some Chinese researchers believe it was a large dragon. The newspaper Literary Digest even wrote an article with fake evidence of an octopus entwining the ship with its 8 tentacles. Some people even question whether Nessie sunk the ship. Did Nessie do it?
Probably not, but... Number 8. Stormy storms. Several suggest that bad weather simply took down the USS Cyclops, but no weather severe enough to take down a vessel of this size were recorded that week. The Bermuda Triangle is known for unpredictable weather, though.
Number 9. Electro theory. Another theory suggests that the electromagnetic forces interacted with the technology of the ship, confusing the crew. The Bermuda Triangle is also thought by some to have special electromagnetic features.
Number 10. Insane captain. Crew members said that at night, George Vorley, the captain, would walk around in only his underwear and murmur to himself in German. He was also said to react violently when he was criticized. Because of this, many believed George Vorley was insane and is responsible for the sinking of the USS Cyclops. While not having any definite grounds, I fear fate worse than sinking, though possibly based on instinctive dislike felt toward the master. This was a written quote by a crew member. It was taken by a foreign services officer, also a customs officer, while aboard the ship during the stop in Barbados.
Number 11. Erosion. U.S. Navy Admiral George Vandur, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, said that it was possible that the airborne acid from the manganese ore eroded the beams, making the ship collapse. Others believe the water eroded the ship, and yet others believe the coal eroded the ship, which was the cargo the Cyclops carried before the manganese ore.
Number 12. Puerto Rico Trench. Scientists think it is possible that the Cyclops is in the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point of the Atlantic Ocean. It is located at the southernmost tip of the Bermuda Triangle. It stretches 27,500 feet below sea level.
Ooh, that's deep.
As deep as my brain, making it just 1,500 feet shy of the height of Mount Everest.
Oh my goodness.
This would explain why there is no wreckage or debris from the ship.
Number 13. Unequal distribution. Customs officers from Barbados who searched the Cyclops when she stopped in Bridgetown said that most of the cargo was on the port or the left side of the ship. There was hardly any cargo on the starboard or the right side of the ship. This could also have be the cause of the ship to sink.
Number 14. Atlantis. Our final listed theory, scholars believe that Atlantis swallowed up the ship. There is not much to say about this theory, as no evidence exists for this theory.
Interesting. There is something else that is very eerie, though. No wreckage has ever been found of the USS Cyclops. Dean Hawes, a Navy diver, found a ship he believed to be the Cyclops. He took a picture of it, brought it home. A few months later, he found an article about the Cyclops, and Hawes recognized it. Dean Hawes brought the article and photo to the attention of the U.S. Navy. He was successful and convinced them to investigate more. Sadly, it was discovered that this was a different ship.
I found that President Woodrow Wilson said, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." And no, it is not a quote about the Titanic. This is not the only weird thing about this wreckage, though. Lieutenant Commander George W. Vorley, despite his English-sounding name, Lieutenant Vorley was born in Germany as Johann Friedrich Wichmann and changed his name after immigrating to the States. Reports came out that some crew members referred to Vorley as the darn Dutchman, a reference to his German background, as the word Duchy, meaning Dutch, was confused with Dutch. Meaning German was confused with Dutch. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Franklin D. Roosevelt, who at the time was the Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Navy, said, "The ship is officially lost and all on board are deceased." This is when all hands aboard were declared dead, though many other sources claim the passengers were declared lost at sea. During an interview with the Sun newspaper, a well-known deep-sea explorer, James P. Delgado of San Jose, California, said, "In terms of loss of life and size of ship, it's probably the last great mystery left unresolved."
Fun facts.
The USS Cyclops was built in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
This report was based on the USS Cyclops II. There was actually another USS Cyclops before this, built in 1864.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
Way after you were born.
No.
Yes.
No.
It was originally the USS Kickapoo, but was renamed USS Cyclops on June 16, 1869. It was before renamed the USS Cawadon on August 10th, 1869.
The USS Cyclops could accommodate up to 12.5 thousand pounds of cargo per voyage, one of the most in the world at the time. It could also accommodate 300 plus people.
The Cyclops could travel at a maximum speed of 15 knots an hour.
Is that fast?
You
don't know?
If there is a naval expert watching this, please comment the answer.
Several other ships claimed that they sent telegrams to the USS Cyclops, but none of them were ever answered. Imagine deep in the dark, cold water, and in a sunken ship, and telegrams just start receiving messages.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
The ship sailed from Norfolk Naval Port at 1530 Gilbert Street, Norfolk, Virginia, to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where it sailed to Bridgetown Harbor, Barbados, and then into the Atlantic Ocean, where it was mysteriously lost.
Mm-hmm. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops was the second largest loss of life in U.S. naval history. It remains behind the Honda Point incident. It is even more lethal than the Pearl Harbor bombing. It was also the largest U.S. naval death event that isn't related to combat.
The USS Cyclops was launched on May 7th, 1910.
The USS Amolco was rumored to have spotted the USS Cyclops, but the captain denies this. It was also very unlikely that it could have been seen in Virginia at that point in voyage.
U.S. Navy's top collier, which is a ship class, the Cyclops, was declared missing along with its passengers, who were declared dead on June 1st, 1918, just a few months after she went missing.
During World War I, the Cyclops was armed with 50 caliber guns and supplied France with medical staff and supplies. Secretary of State, Washington, D.C., April 2nd, 1700. That's 5 p.m. in military time.
That's a long letter.
Department's 15th, confidential. Master of the USS Cyclops stated that it required 600 tons of coal to have sufficient on board to reach Bermuda. The engines are in very poor condition, not sufficient funds, and therefore requested payment by me. Unusually reticent, I have ascertained he took here ton fresh meat, ton flour, 1,000 pounds vegetables, paying therefore $775. From different sources, gather the following. He had plenty of coal. The alleged inferior took coal to mix, probably had more than 1,500 tons. The master was alluded to by others as the damned Dutchman, apparently disliked by other officers, rumored disturbances on the Nazi-German route, men confined and one executed, also had some prisoners from their fleet in Brazilian waters, one life sentence. The United States Consul General Gottschalk, passenger, 231 crew exclusive of officers and passengers. Have names of the crew, but not of all the officers and passengers. Many Germanic names appear. Number, telegraphic, or wireless messages addressed to master or in care of the ship were delivered at this port. All telegrams for Barbados on file head office St. Thomas. I have to suggest scrutiny there. While not having any definite grounds, I fear fate worse than seeking, though possibly based on instinctive dislike felt towards the master. This was the full letter that the small clip you heard earlier originated from. It was written by an unknown crew member and then copied into the book USS Cyclops, author Marvin W. Barish of Kent Island, Maryland. The book was published by Heritage Books Incorporated. If you heard some grammatical errors, this letter was written in German originally, so the author had to translate it. It still wasn't perfect, but we translated as best we could. This was the mystery of the USS Cyclops. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll come back for more mysteries.
Make sure to check out our Patreon, our website, and our YouTube channel, which will be tagged below. We are also on... No, we're not. Thanks to the infographic show, Spark Pass, Yahoo, Upside Chronicles, U.S. Naval History and Heritage Command, National Underwater and Marine Agency, Heritage Books Incorporated, Internet Archives, The Washington Post, Naval Installations Command, Navy Times, The Sun, Underwater Explorer and Storyteller, and iBiblio for the information. I would also like to thank Even the Richest Podcast for inspiration. Mysteries Among Us is made possible by Medito Productions. What do you think happened to the USS Cyclops?
Comment below with your thoughts on that.
Yeah, your thoughty thoughts.
I'm Angie,
I'm Ryland.
and this is
Mysteries
Mysteries
Among
Among
Us.
Us.